Hello everyone. In this video we are going to take a look on how to load an animated model from Mixamo into Panda3D. So this will be the end result of this episode. So go to mixamo.org and in order to download these characters with these animations, you also have to register on this site. And Mixamo belongs to Adobe, so you have to create an Adobe account for this. So let's go to the characters tab here, and I'm just going to choose this Remy character. So click on this character, and it will load it in this T pose. You can also move with your mouse this view here in the right side. And now just let's search for the animations, and you can find animations on this tab. So click on this, and I want to load that dancing animation, and here in the search bar I'm going to click on this dance, and here it is, this hip hop dancing. I'm just going to click on this one, and it will automatically load this animation for this model. Okay, so the next thing will be actually download this animated model. So here is the download button, and the only option, there are two options. One is FBX binary, and the second is this Collada DAE. I'm just going to download this as a binary FBX. So there is no option for, let's say, GLTF, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter because Blender can load this FBX file. So I'm just going to choose the first option, which is FBX binary, and frames per second is 30, it is okay, keyframe reduction, none, skin with skin, yes, and download. So here is the downloaded model, hip hop dancing.fbx, and its size is about 31 megabytes. And it is a non-human readable file format, so as I said, it is a binary. Something like the BAM file for Panda3D. So it is just a bunch of, if you open it up using let's say Sublime, you will see that it is just a bunch of hexadecimal numbers as a BAM file. Okay, now the next step will be to actually, we cannot load FBX files directly to Panda3D. So the next step will be to actually load this file in Blender. So I'm using Blender 2.83.13. Okay, so I'm just going to delete all of this. Go to File, Import, and Blender comes with an FBX importer. So click on this one, go to the desktop, and here is in the Mixamo folder, or not in the Mixamo folder, but in the FBX files folder, I have this hip hop dancing.fbx. And here you have on the right side some options, so import normals, subdivision surface, blah blah blah. Just make sure you check the animation data, and yes, so let's try to import this. It will take about 2-3 seconds to actually import this file, and now you have on this timeline, you can click on the play button and it will play the animation. It also shows the bones for this. The next thing, as you can see, we have much more frames what we need, so I'm just going to zoom on this. We need probably 135 frames. So here I'm just going to click here, and the end frame I'm going to set it to 135. And now the animation should loop continuously. So let me see. So before I try to export this model, I'm just going to actually hide these bones because it looks a little bit strange, or something disgusting. So here on this Scene Explorer, you can click on this eye to the, I mean, it will hide the armature. So it looks now a little bit better, but it still works. I mean, it just hides the armature, but the animation and everything else still works as it should. And the next thing will be actually to click on this icon to show the textures. And I like that FBX files are also containing the textures and also the animation, so there are no separate data for these. So okay, let's just try to export this model with the PRPEE egg exporter. And I'm just going to select the whole model. As you can see, this model has multiple parts, like here it's shown. So it has a body or a top. It has the body part, also a head or the hair, and also shoes. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts, also the eyelashes. So just select all, go to the file, export, and export it out as a Panda3D egg. And I'm just going to move to desktop, and Panda X, I have here a folder called Panda X. And here on the right side you have the options for the egg exporter. And because this model has animation data, I'm just going to check these all actions as animations. So check this. You can also export out just the animations here, but I want to export out everything, not just the animations. And here I'm just going to set these separate animation files, so it will create a separate animation file. So one egg file will hold the geometry data, and the second egg file will contain the animation data. And okay, let's just try to export this, export Panda to Panda3D egg, and it takes about, I don't know, 7, 8, maybe 10 seconds. As you can see, Blender is working. So the export was finished, and here on the bottom you can see that there is an error, unexpected. Oh, okay, it went away. So if you go to Window, toggle System Console, here you will find some errors which was generated during the export. And it looks like that there is an invalid argument, which is the animation name. So dance-armature mixamo.com baselayer.egg. So we are just going to change this name to another name, and I'm just going to the folder. Here it is, Panda X. It exported the geometry, also the textures. It has multiple textures like normal maps and also glossy maps and specular maps. So technically we can load this, but this will be still just a static file, so without any animation. So I'm just going to delete this. And let's try it again. Go back to Blender. And this time, just to remove that error which was shown here on the bottom of the window, I'm just going to go here and click on the animation triangle, and this is the name which the exporter doesn't like. So armature mixamo.com base layer. So, and this is separated by these pipe characters. I'm just going to double click on this and just give it like a name like dancing, and enter. So now we have renamed the animation. And also if you go to the NLA editor, so here you can click, go to the nonlinear animation editor, also select the model, or here select the armature, and you can see that it was also renamed here to dancing. Okay, let's hide the armature again, select the model, and let's try to export it again to Panda3D egg, to the desktop, Panda X, and also check the all actions as animations and export it out. So I had to restart Blender because it crashed, and I re-exported the model again. For the second time it didn't crash. So here in this folder now we have 3 files. I don't know why we have here 3 files. This should be the geometry, and the dancing egg file should have the animation data. So I'm just going to copy these files, also the texture files, here into PyCharm, and I already created a folder called Mixamo Dancing, and also a My Models folder inside the Mixamo Dancing, and I'm just going to right click and paste these files. And okay, I'm just going to copy it like this, because it looks like PyCharm doesn't like when I copy too big files or too many files at once. So I'm just going to select all and copy into the text folder and paste. So now we have all the textures here. Okay, as usual, I'm just created a skeleton Panda3D application, which just creates a window with the size of 1280 by 720. And here I also setting the background color to pure black. And I already showed this multiple times, so I'm just going to load the model. So here, what we need for animated models is the actor class. So we can import this from direct.actor.actor import the actor class. Because we won't use the loader.load model, because the loader.load model only works with 3D geometry which is not animated. So if you have animated models, you should use the actor class. So, and here I'm just going to give to it the path to my models, and it's called the dance.egg. So untitled dance, and for now I'm just going to load the model without the animation, and also reparent this to the render, and let's take a look if it works or not. Okay, I don't know, it is still loading, yes. And let's move the camera back, and we have here the model, although it is very black, so I'm just going to add some lighting. I also created a separate module, and I'm just going to import this module. So it's called the light setup, and it has 2 functions, the setup point light and the setup ambient light. And let's go to this, and here is the setup ambient light, which just creates an ambient light, and its color is 0.08 on red, green, blue, and it also has a setup point light, and it creates a point light, although we won't use shadows, so we don't need this line. And also the point light's color is pure white. And yes, so here I'm just calling the setup point light on the model, and this is the position of the point light, so it needs a notepad and also a position. And here I'm calling the setup ambient light on the model, so it will create an ambient light. Now let's take a look at it. And it takes about 2, 3, maybe 4 seconds to load, or it was already loaded, but as you can see it's still very dark. I'm just going to remove this background color, and now here is the model. Okay, I'm just going to set the camera's position to 0, -10 and 0, so it will move the camera back on the y-axis. So here is the model in T-pose without the animation. Now let's try to load the animation. So here, when I'm creating the actor class, as a second argument, I'm just going to give it a dictionary, and I'm just going to call the first key as anim1. And here it needs to point to the my models folder, my models, and the animation data is this dance-dancing.egg. So dance-dancing, and we don't have to give it the file extension. So let's try it. Of course, but before I run the application, I'm just going to call the loop method on the model, so self.model.loop, and the animation1, which references this key in this dictionary. So let's try to actually see what happens. And as you can see, as soon as we load the animation data, which was exported using the PRPE exporter, everything is totally destroyed. The whole geometry somehow is destroyed. And so I'm just wanted to show you that unfortunately, at least this animation cannot be exported using the PRPE exporter. It will not work. I don't know why, but I'm just going to, let's say, comment out this line, which should loop the animation. And as a static model, it works. It's okay. But as soon as I want to play the animation, it destroys the whole geometry. So I'm just going to use GLTF file instead of egg files for this. And I didn't know until now that Panda fully supports GLTF files and also the animations without installing anything. So, but I am using the most recent version of Panda, which is 1.10.10. So if you are using an older version of Panda, maybe it won't work for you. So in that case, just install the latest version of Panda and it should work. So okay, I commented out these 3 lines because it doesn't work. So let's go back to Blender. Let's make sure you have the whole model selected. Go to File, Export, and export it out as a GLTF 2.0 file format. And this comes, the GLTF exporter comes pre-installed with Blender, so you don't have to install anything. Let's go to Desktop and to this folder. And here on the right side you will find the options, and I'm just going to choose the GLTF embedded, so the second option here. So embedded means that all the textures will be embedded inside the GLTF file, and also the animation or the binary data will be embedded inside the GLTF file. So let's select the second option, and in the include selected objects, yes, but I think we don't have to check these because we don't have anything else in the scene. I'm just going to set it Y up or Z up. Well, I'm going to leave it as it is, so the transform. The geometry, modifiers, UVs, normals, tangents, I'm just going to leave everything as it is. Animation, okay, sampling rate, blah blah blah, shape keys and skinning, okay. Export to GLTF. And it will take a few seconds to actually export this file. So it took about 20 to 30 seconds to export out this dancing animation. I don't know why it takes so long. Maybe this is because all the animation data and this geometry has only, or not only, but it has 19,000 vertices and I don't know, 18,000 faces. Maybe that's why, and also 35,000 triangles. So let's go to my desktop, and here is the file, and it's called dance.gltf, and I'm just going to copy this, and as you can see its size is 50 megabytes, because all the textures are embedded in this file, and all the animation data are embedded in this one file. So let's just copy this, go back to PyCharm, and I'm just going to copy it in the My Models, paste. And okay, now let's try to load this dance.gltf. So I'm just going to copy this line, Ctrl C. So we are still going to use the actor class, but this time we are, instead of loading the dance, so if you are loading an egg file, you don't have to give a file extension. But if you are loading another file, like a BAM file or a GLTF file, you have to give the file extension. So dance.gltf. And I'm just going to remove this part because we don't need this. Let's just try to actually see without animation. And it takes few seconds, and as you can see, the model is loaded, and it also looks a little bit better, as I don't know, maybe because of the GLTF exporter, I'm not sure. So it looks better, I think, with the GLTF as it looked with the egg exporter. So now let's try to animate it. And remember that we renamed here under the armature, we have this animation, and under the animation we renamed this NLA action to dancing. So we have to loop this animation which we renamed to dancing. So let's try it. And I'm just going to copy this from my second monitor, and so reparent to render, and here we are going to call the cell.model.loop the dancing. So if you are, always make sure, always check what the animation data is named here, and call that inside here. And now let's try to run it, and as you can see, with the GLTF it works. Oops, I'm just going to move the camera maybe a little bit up, I don't know, like 2.5 units. And okay, so we successfully downloaded an animated 3D model from Mixamo. We just made some changes inside Blender, exported it out as a GLTF file, and we can import GLTF file directly into Panda with animations, with textures, with what you want. So it looks like there is no reason to actually use any more egg files, or I'm not sure, maybe for some models from static models, or some models which have some simple animations, we can still use egg files, but for models which have multiple parts, multiple textures and animations, maybe we should use just GLTF files, nothing else. So I just installed the Panda3D Simple PBR module. You can do this just by typing pip install Panda3D-Simple PBR. And I already imported this, so import Simple PBR, and I'm just going to give or put this link into the video description, this GitHub link, and I'm just called the simple pbr.init. And as you can see, now the whole scene is much brighter, and if you zoom to the model, some parts are actually very shiny, like, I don't know, like here on his neck, and also on his arms, and also that his t-shirt, as you can see, has some very shiny parts. This is done by the Simple PBR. I think it is the shininess texture or something like that, but I think it looks very nice. So this is how you can load an animated model from Mixamo to Panda3D. And that's all what I wanted to show you in this one. So thanks for watching and have a nice day.